And that leads us nicely to our next two speakers, both from Land Tirol, Austria. So let me introduce you first to Dr. Kurt Siegner, that will talk about silviculture for resilience in mountain environment. Kurt, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Giorgio, and thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for the invitation and the possibility to speak here at the pre-COP meeting in Milano. I'm proud to be here, and as a representative of the Land Tirol, I'm a practitioner from the regional Tyrolean Forest Department, and let me first show a short overview about the frame conditions and the challenges we are facing. As Matthias and also Harald mentioned, the climate in the Alps in Tyrol and Austria reacts more sensitive than in the Northern Hemisphere. The temperature increases in the Alpine region nearly twice as fast as in the global comparison. Worst case scenarios estimate changes up to 4 degrees and even up to 6 degrees higher than 2100. So this means that the growing seasons maybe even become drier than today, and this has some conclusions to the mountain forests and in Tyrol. The Tyrolean mountain forests have special requirements that need to be met. Only 12% of Tyrol is permanently inhabitable, and these settlements areas are endangered by natural hazards like avalanches, debris flow, or landslides. Tyrol is also a very dense populated region with much tourism and a growing population. The graph shows how the population has tripled over the last 130 years. More than 50 million annual overnight stays were counted before the COVID crisis, and shows the enormous economic importance to tourism in Tyrol. There is a clear need for safety and protection in the Tyrolean valleys. Here you see the forest function plan of Austria. The marked area is Tyrol, and you see the dominating red color. These are protective forests, which protect buildings, roads, and people from natural hazards. Protective forests and natural hazard prevention have the highest priority in Tyrolean forest management. The highest priority. The Tyrolean forests have been managed sustainably for the last 200 years. Forest owners have been following the very strict forest laws and guidelines of the Tyrolean Forest Department. Multifunctional forest management has ensured sustainable outcomes for all of the functions. The Tyrolean Forest Department has screened forests about their sensitivity to climate change. You see on the map a lot of forests in red and yellow color, which are climate sensitive, especially to drought stress and diseases. About 45,000 hectares should be treated in the next 20 years to keep them in good shape. Here you can see the estimated impact of climate change on Tyrolean mountain forests with rising temperatures of up to 4 degrees. In recent years, experts have been detecting increased damage to spruce and pine, as Harald said already, as well as to ash and elm. Most notably, the widespread spruce is coming under more pressure from drought stress and bark beetle attacks in areas below 1,000 meters above sea level. Pests are estimated to increase with higher temperatures, especially during spring and summer, favoring their expansion. In order to withstand pest attacks, our forests must contain many different tree species. Now let me highlight a special project called Tyrolean Climate Smart Mountain Forests, which started 2 years ago. The main goals are summarized in this slide in particular. Long-term stabilization of all functions, educational measures, or cooperation projects. About 30,000 forest owners in Tyrol will be supported by the Forest Department. To provide them in forest management measures, we offer a catalogue of funding measures from afforestation to maintenance and harvesting in old-grown forests. One of the most important tools for the forest practitioners is the forest site map. This GIS forest site map was developed in cooperation with Bavaria, the province of Trentino Alto Adige, and science partners in the Alps. The forest site map of Tyrol combines soil data, climate data, and vegetation data in a GIS model. It provides information about the percentage of the different tree species on a specific site stand. The map helps to define the best mix of species in order to reduce the risk of physical damage and drought stress. Diversity is very important to keep young forests in good condition and respond to climate change effects. We are also continuously developing forest site classification to adapt the content of our maps on the new climate parameters. We have started continuous training programs for the public and private forestry sector. We are sharing know-how and best practice to deal with climate change, for example, managing mixed forests or seedling quality. Finally, we are forming partnerships to tackle together with other alpine regions and countries the challenges arising from climate change. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ziegner. And a lot of pictures from your presentation representing baby trees or seedlings or small trees. And I think, as Harald also said, that regeneration and the future forest is really an important target for forest resilience. And that's the subject of our next speech by Dr. Christian Arnewanter from Land Tyrol, again, that will talk about forest reproductive material. So Christian, the floor is yours.
Thank you, George. Dear ladies and gentlemen, as a forest producer of planet and forester, I would like to focus on the control of the forest reproductive material, the seed harvest and the processing of seeds. In Austria, the production of import, export and sales of tree seeds and forest plants is regulated by law, the Directive of European Community and the Forest Reproductive Material Act. In Austria, there are areas with different natural growth conditions. This fact was taken into account by the designation of forest areas. Austria has only one map of provenance for all tree species. Each region of provenance is divided according altitude levels. In Austria, all regulated tree species are certified. Seeds may only be collected from recognized seed stocks. The seed harvest must be reported to the forest authority who is present during the seed harvest. Depending on the tree species, different harvesting techniques are used during harvesting. As you see in the photo, harvesting fallen fruits from oak and beech. Cones from spruce and larch trees are often harvested from the felled trees. Harvesting from standing trees using telescopic platforms or cranes, as you see in this photo. Here, harvesting on standing trees by climbing technique on fir trees or Swiss pine, but also on large trees. To ensure high genetic diversity, a certain number of trees must be harvested. At least more than 20 trees must be harvested from the main tree species. The law requires the submission of single tree samples. A certain number of cones harvested must be collected as reference sample to control the origin. These reference samples are stored and recorded in a database at the federal government Bundesforschungszentrum für Wald, BFW. At the end of each harvest, a master certificate is issued for securing identity and is sent to the BFW together with the single tree samples. In this way, every young plant sold from the nursery is provided with the master certificate number and can be traced to its origin. Companies operating with productive material must be registered. Seed kilns, seed merchants, and nurseries are controlled by the BFW and the federal states. The harvested cones with their master certificate arrive at the nurseries for further processing. They are poured into boxes to be dried slowly. The seeds are knocked out of the cone in a drum. The seeds are deflated, and after cleaning and sifting, the poor seed can be obtained. The seeds are stored in the cold room. After sowing and after 2 to 5 years of intensive care, high quality, site adapted and climate friendly forest plants are now ready for afforestation. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Christian, to make us learn about the procedures in Land Tyrol to ensure the resilience of the forest and the good conservation and regulation of forest reproductive material.